Check, check, check. All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the stream. My name is Patrick, and this is the PJK_ Twitch, YouTube, and Mixer stream. I'm streaming all three platforms, so whichever one you like the best, you can see me on that one. And I can see in front of me chat from all three of them, too. So if you want to say hi or whatever, I will see it, no matter what platform you're on. So I can pull that trick off, thanks to the fine folks at Restream.io. So thank you for allowing me to be able to do that. That lets me get out to a bigger audience, I think, as far as, you know, I don't know where everybody's going to be that might be interested in my stuff, so why should I pick favorites, right? And nobody's made me partner yet, so I don't have any reason to pick favorites at this point. Tonight's stream's going to be a little different. First, let me tell you something. I signed up for YouTube Red. They have a free month thing. And I wanted to watch Cobra Kai. I mean, you know, I grew up in the '80s, so you know, the Karate Kid that movie came out in theaters when I was growing up, and it was amazing. You know, I was like, wow, it's Rocky but with a kid, and he's doing karate. So here we are, 34 years later, and the original cast is back, and except for Pat Morita, who passed away, of course. But anyway, I watched the first episode for free, and then I think the second episode was also free, and I was like, okay, you got me, because the third episode you had to sign up for YouTube Red, which is like $10 a month or something like that. And I was like, ah, shit, I like this. It was just fun. It was nostalgic, and it's not a great series by any stretch, but it's just fun seeing those performers play those roles. And what's also really fun about it is the way they're doing it is they're kind of telling it from the perspective of Johnny, the bad guy in the Karate Kid movie, the blonde kid that beats up Daniel LaRusso. But I thought that was kind of cool. And I think like 6 episodes in or something like that. I think there's like 10 episodes or something. But anyway, I'm going to probably turn off YouTube Red after I finish watching it, because unless there's any, you know, you tell me in the comments or send me a tweet or something like that that's, tell me a reason to stick around on YouTube Red after watching that. If there's some series that I should be watching that I've never heard of, then I'd enjoy it if there was stuff that I was interested in on it, but that was the only show that I was interested in, so I'll take advantage of a free month for that. That's not a plug, by the way. I'm just, I'm not sponsored by anybody, but I just thought it was a cool show. Speaking of cool show, we'll try to make one tonight for you here. We're going to do something different, and we're not going to play a game. Nope. And it says Assassin's Creed Origins on the thing, but what we're going to do is this feature that they came out with last month in Assassin's Creed Origin, called Discovery Mode, or Discovery Tour. And so we're not going to be, running around as an assassin killing people or what have you. This is designed to be, because they put so much work into making ancient Egypt realistic. This is a tour that's going to kind of walk us through some of the, historically recreated areas in the game, which I think is a really cool idea when you come down to it. Is it's kind of like a history class that you get to walk around in, right? I mean, that's all the Animus is in the Assassin's Creed games anyway, right? It's a thing that takes you back in time to some place, and so they recreate that world as best they can. They did such a good job in Egypt that they said, well, why don't we make it like, a teacher could actually take their class through this sort of thing. So I've never done this before, as far as I've never gone into this mode before. Thought, well, I'm going to give it a try on stream and see what you guys think. And maybe we'll learn something. Hopefully we'll learn something. And we'll see how life was like in ancient Egypt. So let's jump down in here. I'll check my chroma key, check my green screens, make sure I'm not crackling too much. I crackle on the ears because these things are green. There's little green things in my headphones, and so they sparkle. You can see through my head, so you can see that it's all empty. Nothing in there. You can see clean through me. All right, so let's jump on in, and I did see where it was on the main menu there where you can go into discovery mode, and let's check it out. And if you haven't got this game, if you've got a good gaming PC or a good console, like a PS4 or especially the Xbox One X like I've got, this thing looks amazing. And I don't yet have a 4K TV. That's on my list this year, is I will get a 4K TV. But this game is one of those that you'd want to pop in and show your friends and show it off. All right, so here we are, Discovery Tour right here. See? All right, explore this virtual museum mode with guided tours and historical locations set in combat and quest-free environment. So we're not going to have to deal with people trying to attack us or us having to attack anybody else. We're just going to go and take some tours and come along for the ride. Maybe we'll all learn something together. Let's see what we can do. Start. Okay. So let's enter the Animus here. Let's see what we can find out about ancient Egypt. Entering the Matrix. Alright, well this is certainly trippy. We must have to load some stuff, that's probably why it's going through all this. But all these little symbols and things you're seeing are from the ancient civilization that they refer to a lot in the Assassin's Creed lore. So where they can be takes certain liberties with history in the game Assassin's Creed, I think this is trying to stay more towards historical accuracy and that sort of thing. And I think they found a hidden chamber in one of the pyramids that they built a level in Assassin's Creed on. All right, let's see. With content curated by Egyptologists and hundreds of images sourced from museums and libraries around the world, we hope to share with you the passion that inhabited us for 4 years it took to develop Assassin's Creed Origins. Okay. Let's go. Discovery Tour.
Welcome to Discovery Tour by Assassin's Creed, Ancient Egypt.
All right. See, Egypt was not all sand. I mean, it had greenery and everything. Guided tours will take you through majestic landmarks and acquaint you with ancient Egyptians and their culture. Enjoy the vast panoramas of this beautiful country through the eyes of your eagle, or use an avatar to climb to the very top of the Great Pyramid. All right. Navigate a boat along the banks of the River Nile, or ride a horse across deserts and lush, fertile lands. All right. Why don't you take me on a tour? And when a view truly captures your fascination, take a picture using photo mode and share it with your friends. All right, cool. They have photo mode in the game, and now they have it in this as well. There we go. Where are you going to drop me? And we're here. Okay. Very cinematic. Okay, use left to move your character to start the tour. Okay, I'm playing as, what's her name? The wife of Bayek, I think. Alright, let's go on up here. And we will start our tour. Alexandria, planning a city. Number of stations, 8 stations. Learn about the design and layout of the city of Alexandria. Estimated time, 6 minutes. All right, the bus leaves now. Let's go on our tour, kids.
Welcome to Alexandria, planning of the city.
All right, follow the trail to the next station.
Alexander's plan to build his great city began with a verse from Homer's Odyssey. There is, in front of Egypt, in the sea with many swells, an island called Pharos. Guided by these clues, Alexander the Great founded his future city at the western end of the Nile Delta.
There's the lighthouse at Alexandria, one of the wonders of the world at the time. I think they'll talk about that in a minute. Alright, well, let's walk on over here. This is kind of cool.
Though Alexander considered this location ideal for his great city, it presented considerable challenges. Too difficult to access during storms, the surrounding swamps threatened disease, and the limestone soil prevented the growth of healthy crops. However, due to the influence of his mentor Aristotle, Alexander the Great recognized that the true value was its strategic emplacement.
Aha.
Alexander knew that in controlling Pelusium to the east, Memphis to the south, and his crowning glory Alexandria to the west, he would create a triangular stronghold, allowing him to control the entire delta while giving him access to the Mediterranean.
Smart move. Okay, so that's the little triangle delta. You can see right there is the triangle delta we're talking about. All right, and I think we are right here. That, yeah, I got to do this backwards. Here. Yeah. All right. Let's go. Let's go into the gates.
The great walls of Alexandria had a humble beginning. Lacking chalk to outline the future city's foundations, architects were forced to use flour instead. Clouds of migrating birds swept down and ate the flour, erasing the plans. This prompted Alexander to seek guidance from the oracles, who reassured him that his future city was destined to feed a large population.
Okay.
Excavations led by Mahmud Bey el-Falaki in the 19th century revealed that the wall enclosure measured approximately 5.2 kilometers in length and 2.2 kilometers in width. It was roughly 9
that's pretty big.
meters in height.
9 meters? Looks a little bit bigger than 9 meters. Alright.
These formidable ancient walls would resist a number of attacks, including fending off the king of Syria in 169 BCE.
Some soldiers.
It wasn't until 295 CE that they eventually fell to Roman Emperor Diocletian, and this only after 8 months of relentless assault.
All right. It's kind of cool, though. You're just walking through the city, and you're getting kind of a little tour as you go. What's up, bros? All right. Let's see what this one is.
Alexandria's principal architect, Dinocrates, chose a Hippodamian grid plan. The grid maximized functionality, with wide, straight roads and canals running beneath them.
Yeah, we got that.
Alexander recognized the military value of the city's design. The wide, parallel streets gave him optimal surveillance of the city, while allowing the unobstructed flow of troops.
Interesting. There's a, sorry, I'm sitting right in front of the little sketches that they've got. All right. But as you can see, this game is absolutely gorgeous, and they burned a lot of calories on making sure it was historically accurate.
A central corridor ran from the Mediterranean's north port down to Lake Mareotis to the south. This thoroughfare acted as an unobstructed link for commercial trade and travel between the two ports. Many of the streets were bordered with grand buildings and parks, including Canopic Street, with its impressive gate bordering the eastern end.
Okay. Pretty cool. Let's go over here and see what's up.
Alexandria was most likely built upon an already existing Egyptian village. Upon its completion, the Egyptians reviled the city, refusing to call it by its founder's name.
Ooh.
Instead, they called it Raked, the building, as a mark of disdain, which was later Hellenized into Rakotis. Despite this, the name Alexandria would remain.
Not too popular with the locals. That looks like the locals' stuff right there, or there. And then up top is where the Greeks would, or the Romans would build their stuff. All right. Ooh. Hey, we got a rare achievement. You saw it right here, folks. Complete one tour. I guess nobody does the tour mode. You can explore ancient Egypt at your own pace, or select this to select the hamburger button to choose a new tour by opening the pause menu. Okay. Let's see what other tours we got. Oh, we got a bunch of them. Okay, we did Alexandria. That was 8 stations. Cleopatra, Queen of Egypt. Oh, this is cool. Greek pharaohs. Okay. Alright, so it tells you about how long each one's going to be. Well, why don't we start at the top and bust through a couple of these? Maybe we'll get some more achievements. But you saw it here first. You got a rare achievement. Okay, Station 1 of 7, the Divine Pharaoh. Alright. Oh, this is, okay. I'm not in front of anything critical, am I? Alright. Pharaohs were considered divine incarnations of the gods. As an avatar of the gods living on Earth, the pharaoh's role was to preserve fundamental values and universal harmony by removing chaos, Isfet, and ensure that justice, Mat, prevailed. The pharaoh, by divine ancestry and through multiple offerings, was the bond that unites the world of men to the world of the gods and allows the maintenance of the cosmic order. In other words, they just called themselves gods so that they could be a badass. Okay. Alright, I don't think this takes you anywhere. This is just photos. So let's back out. I want to do an actual... Let's learn about Cleopatra. Wait a second. Fast travel. There we go. I don't want to do a slideshow for you guys. I want to walk around ancient Egypt and see cool stuff. Learn some things. It'd be neat if they went back to their other games and did the same thing. Like go to London for Syndicate and, you know, colonial America and stuff like that. That'd be pretty badass. Alright, here we are. We got some guards. Better mind our P's and Q's. Hey, what's up? Alright, let's go. Okay, Cleopatra, the Queen of Egypt. Last of the ancient Egyptian... I didn't know she was the last one. Oh, okay.
Welcome to Cleopatra, Queen of Egypt.
Alright. Let's go see what Cleopatra's up to.
Cleopatra VII Theophilopator ascended the throne in 51 BCE at the age of 18. Though her early attempts to maintain power were often challenged, she eventually prevailed and became the sole ruler of Egypt. According to Plutarch, she was the only Ptolemaic pharaoh to speak the Egyptian language. Her intelligence, coupled with a good education and a great political mind, allowed her to make the alliances necessary to maintain the independence of Egypt while Rome was becoming a Mediterranean empire.
Interesting. Alright. Do we get to meet her? I know she's a character in the game. I wonder if she comes out and says, "Hey, what up?" or whatever Cleopatra would say. Cleopatra.
It is important to understand that Cleopatra's knowledge of Egyptian language and keen understanding of the culture allowed her to make powerful ideological reference that resonated with ancient Egyptians. By associating herself with the goddess Isis, the Divine Mother, great of magic, and repository of divine essence, Cleopatra firmly established herself as the protector of the two lands and legitimized her place on the throne.
Huh. All right. Let's go up here. What's up? I mean, look at the detail, like the tile work and everything. I mean, there's just so much detail in this game. And this isn't even the game. This is the game engine and the world they created.
Upon his death in 51 BCE, Ptolemy XII Aulus bequeathed his kingdom to his daughter and eldest son, Cleopatra VII and Ptolemy XIII. As was custom, the siblings were married. The new pharaoh was 10 years old, his sister wife 17. The early years of their reign were not easy. Between 50 and 48 BCE, droughts and floods aggravated Egypt's problems. General Achilles and the royal advisor Pothinos kept intervening in the young ruler's political decisions, and eventually colluded to turn Ptolemy XIII against Cleopatra.
Uh-oh.
By 48 BCE, Cleopatra was in exile.
Whoa, I didn't know that happened. Alright. And I guess they cover up boobies with seashells. Like this. So they can't handle, unless that's a in-game license. Ooh, what's
During
this?
Cleopatra's exile, the Roman Empire was not without its own internal
They took his nose off.
Caesar and Pompey were at war with one another, and after his defeat in 48 BCE, Pompey fled to Alexandria in the hope of finding refuge.
Interesting.
This turned out to be an unwise decision. Listening to his advisors, Ptolemy XIII elected to have Pompey assassinated, his head kept as a gift, in the hopes of acquiring Caesar's favor. This gambit backfired. Instead of earning approval, the murder
Yeah, I would
of
think
a
so.
Roman greatly angered Caesar.
Yeah, I would think that would piss somebody off. Oh. Okay. And there he is, just chilling. That's kind of cool, though, that they put the scene right in front of you. It's pretty badass, actually. What's up, bro? Yeah. Dude, something's coming out of your arm. Oh. Alright. Oh, what do we got here? Alright. Got ourselves a little...
Cleopatra, aware of Caesar's anger against Ptolemy for the murder of Pompey, decided to take advantage of the situation. She returned to Egypt in secret, hoping to establish an alliance with one of the most powerful men of the time. Outside of the legend, where she had herself smuggled into his quarters in a carpet, what exactly happened during
we did that in-game
meeting remains a mystery. However, Caesar seemed to see a better ruler for Egypt in Cleopatra than in her young and too easily influenced brother. Invoking Ptolemy XII's will, Caesar attempted to mediate peace between the siblings.
So they're having a bit of a row. Uh-oh. There we go. Alright, let's see what's going on here.
Ptolemy XIII was enraged by the turn of events, and his advisors were none too happy to see Cleopatra return. Urged on by General Achilles and Pothinos, the young pharaoh plotted against Caesar and Cleopatra, resulting in the Siege of Alexandria in 47 BCE. It was in March 47 BCE that Caesar defeated Ptolemy XIII's forces. The young pharaoh drowned in the Nile after having fled the battlefield. With her opponents dead or powerless, Cleopatra married her other much younger brother, Ptolemy XIV.
She
and
married her
finally
brother?
claimed the throne of Egypt for good. The end of the Alexandrian War also cemented the romantic and political alliance between Cleopatra and Caesar.
But she married her brother? I didn't quite catch that. Look at this.
In June of 47 BCE, Cleopatra gave birth to a son, whom she called Caesarion. Caesar did not accept the boy as his heir, choosing instead his nephew Octavian. Nonetheless, on his return to Rome, Caesar invited the queen and her brother husband to stay in the city. Her presence still drew much disapproval from the Senate.
Brother husband.
Always a strategist, Caesar left 4 legions in Egypt, and a man he trusted to direct Egyptian affairs, giving him control of the wheat supplies essential to Rome.
The weed supplies?
Cleopatra and her entourage remained in Rome until March 44 BCE, when Caesar was murdered.
Retro. Alright, so Caesar didn't quite take to the boy. Alright, we've done those. We'll go down here. That's kind of cool. Little fires under the sphinxes there. Sphinx. What's up, bro? What's up? Can I kill him? No, can't kill him. Alright. We're in discovery mode. We can't kill anybody. Discovery tour. What do we got
Caesar's
here?
most faithful ally, Mark Antony, often visited the Queen of Egypt during his stay in Rome. Unlike most, he recognized the legitimacy of Caesarion, the natural son of Caesar. Antony knew he would need the riches of Egypt in order to fight Octavian and claim the Roman Empire. Cleopatra, in return, saw a powerful ally. In the winter of 41 BCE, she arranged a sumptuous tour of Egypt by boat to show Antony the wealth of her country and the power she held as its ruler. A romantic and political relationship followed. The Roman Senate was once again most displeased.
Uh-oh.
To calm spirits in Rome, Antony married Octavia, sister of Octavian.
Okay. Interesting. Alright. We gotta go this way. What's up, bros?
Despite his marriage to Octavia, Antony remained Cleopatra's lover, and she gave birth to their children.
There's the coins.
Cleopatra increased her kingdom's territory and started a political propaganda alongside her lover in Egypt and beyond. She hoped to create a Ptolemaic federal empire with Alexandria at its center. Antony eventually repudiated his Roman wife for the Egyptian queen, much to the dismay of the Roman elite.
Uh-oh.
However, while Mark Antony focused on Egypt, Octavian carefully gained military and political ascendancy over him in Rome.
Okay. Stuff is going down. What do we got here?
Octavian managed his own propaganda campaign and succeeded. The Roman people hated Mark Antony and Cleopatra. To avoid the censure still inherent in attacking a fellow Roman, Octavian simply declared war against Egypt. Rome's power still reigned supreme. The powerful Egyptian fleet, led by Cleopatra as well as Mark Antony's forces, were defeated in 31 BCE in Actium. Octavian arrived in Egypt in 30 BCE to formalize his victory.
Look at the fire effects in this game. I mean, they just spent a lot of time making this look good. Look at this room. Look at that. This is what I like about this. Look at this. It's filled with scrolls. Like, every one of those things has got writing on it and whatever. It's like they just would fill them up and stack them and stack them and stack them. Unbelievable. All right, this is the last stop on the tour. Oh, what do we got here?
The following events remain difficult to confirm due to the many versions and legends around them. It is believed that after hearing a rumor about Cleopatra's suicide, Mark Antony committed suicide himself. He was brought to the Queen as he slowly passed away. Knowing that Octavian would have her chained and paraded through Rome in defeat, Cleopatra planned her own suicide. She most likely killed herself with arsenic, though admittedly, the version where she uses an asp to deliver a fatal bite may be considered more dramatic. What happened to the body of Cleopatra is still a mystery.
Interesting. All right, so there's Cleopatra, Queen of Egypt. I guess we can't get any closer. She's highlighted, though. Huh. Interesting. Alright, so this is the room where she chose to die, I guess. Interesting. Alright, let's go on another tour. Alright, what do we got? We've done Cleopatra, Queen of Egypt. Let's do the Siege of Alexandria. That'll take about 20 minutes, 22 stations, but there'll be battles and shit going on, I think, right? Let's go. Siege of Alexandria. Here we go. If you're just joining, we're doing Assassin's Creed Origins, the Discovery Tour mode. So it's where you don't have to fight anybody, you don't have to worry about animals chasing you or whatever, but you go on these tours around Egypt, and it's cool as shit so far. I mean, they literally are walking you through the locations and showing you the events and things that happened, and so, you know, thought it'd be a good change of pace for tonight. Let's see if we can learn something here. I like it when games do this, especially historically themed games. All right, let's go. All right, learn about the Siege of Alexandria from Julius Caesar's perspective. All right.
Welcome to the Siege of Alexandria.
All right, well, let's walk through the market here. Let's see what's going on. And they just kind of walk you through.
Among the collection of writings attributed to Julius Caesar are his descriptions of the Siege of Alexandria, the Gallic Wars, and the commentaries on the Civil War. These archives contain information on different campaigns, the Wars of Alexandria, Africa, and Spain. Each of them recounts Caesar's military activity from 58 BCE to 45 BCE. Though Caesar's documents remain a main source of information, it's important to note that the perspective is limited. It is necessary for other historical documents to be taken into consideration to provide a better understanding of events.
Yeah, I guess if you're just hearing it from his perspective, that's his side of the story. There's probably another side.
The Siege of Alexandria closely relays the events of the Civil War that led up to the event and describes how Caesar was besieged in the palace of the Ptolemies. Other ancient authors have left equally valuable and sometimes contradictory information.
Alright. I wonder if we'll see the actual siege going on. I mean, they can do that in engine here, so.
In the events leading up to the Siege of Alexandria, Cleopatra VII and her brother were fighting over control of Egypt. Young King Ptolemy XIII's regent, Pothinus, had firm control over the young pharaoh, and an outmaneuvered Cleopatra soon went into hiding.
Okay.
This set the stage for Pompey's arrival in Alexandria. Having lost his battle against Caesar in 48 BCE, the Roman general turned to his allies, the Egyptians, for safe harbor. But on the advice of Pothinus, Ptolemy XIII had Pompey assassinated in the hopes of earning Caesar's favor. This would turn out to be a most unfortunate decision.
Yeah, they cost him his ass soon after. Alright, let's go to the next. So you just go from station to station. They tell you different things. It's kind of cool.
Upon his arrival in Alexandria, Caesar was presented with Pompey's head. The
Should
sight
present
of
him
a
with some
Roman
pants.
murdered by Egyptians did not sit well with him. Caesar made his displeasure clear, ordering the return of Cleopatra, and for the siblings to resolve their differences and resume their co-rule of Egypt, as per the will of their father. Neither Pothinus nor Ptolemy XIII wished to accede to this demand. While doing his best to aggravate Caesar, Pothinus secretly plotted against the Roman ruler and sent word for Egyptian general Achillas to bring his 20,000 men to fight on his behalf. While Pothinus
Yeah, that'll go over well.
Caesar, Cleopatra made a bold move.
Oh yeah, here's Cleopatra's move. This they covered in the game itself. Alright, let's try it on up here. Alright. So we just run through the streets of Alexandria here. Getting a nice tour. Nice little tour. We just follow the line. And we get us a nice little tour of Alexandria. Let's trot out into this garden area here. So, guys, see, they don't even attack me. It's kind of nice. And look at just the detail, the little cloth blowing in the wind, you know, it's really nice. They've done a good job with this. Well, this is a long way between stations here. I guess they want us to get a sense of how damn big this city is. Excuse me, bro. Coming through. Coming through. Alright. Looks like we're going to have to make our way back the same way we came, so... But there's one station in here. It's alright. Here we go. What's going on in here? Uh-oh.
There are various descriptions of the encounter between Caesar and Cleopatra. One report states that she snuck into the palace alone at night. Another account claims she was accompanied by an ally and was brought inside the palace
That was me.
wrapped in a carpet bag.
I carried her.
Though exactly what happened at this fateful meeting is up for debate, what is known is that Cleopatra met with Caesar and earned his approval. Pothinus and Ptolemy XIII were most vexed with this turn of events.
Alright, vexed it is. Alright, we'll head out this way. Alright, we got another station up here apparently. Sabra. So we just follow the lines, and it'll take us to our stations. Here we go.
With Cleopatra finally present, Caesar chose to act as mediator between the siblings in the hopes of a peaceful resolution. It did not take long for things to sour. During a banquet given to celebrate the reconciliation, there was an assassination attempt on Caesar.
Uh-oh.
It was the Roman leader's own barber who thwarted the attack. Once it was revealed that the king's regent, Pothinus, had ordered the attack, Caesar had him executed. He then placed the young king under guard.
Ooh. Alright, we just follow our paths here. Try not to trip over any tiger heads. And off we go. Or off we go this way. Sabra. Some tents and some Roman soldiers there. Got a lot of Roman soldiers here. Must be talking about the military here.
Caught within the palace with roughly 4,000 troops, and with the knowledge that the arrival of enemy forces was imminent, Caesar sent for help from Syria, Rhodes, and Cilicia. He ordered his men to dig a ditch around the palace and build a wall leading to the harbor. This would ensure Caesar's access to the sea. When Egyptian General Achillas arrived in the city with 20,000 men, the battle for Alexandria began.
Sweet. Alright. I was hoping that we'd see some of the actual battle. Maybe we will. Oh, I see some stuff going on up here. Ah, here we go. Look at these guys. You got giant crossbows. Yeah, shit's going on.
With so few men at his disposal, Caesar could not risk a battle just yet. He sent ambassadors to Achillas in the name of Ptolemy to propose a truce. Knowing that the orders did not come from the young king, and angered by the pharaoh's imprisonment, Achillas had the messengers assassinated. With Caesar confined,
I guess that's where the phrase "don't kill the messenger"
Achillas
comes from.
positioned his troops around the city. Skirmishes broke out throughout the streets of Alexandria and went on for several days and nights. Though they were outnumbered, Caesar's men were able to hold the enemy back. This prompted Achillas' next move: capture the Roman fleet stationed in the harbor.
Alright, excuse me. Get out of my way. Alright, so shit's burning, stuff's going on. Somebody's trying to call me here. Oh, man. Alright, we got a crash. Hang on. Alright. So let's see what's the next station here on our tour. This is kind of cool, and there's a bunch of these tours in the game, so I kind of like this. I'll probably go through all of them at some point just to kind of see what's what. It's kind of cool. I like that they just kind of walk you through the city a little bit. Now, what I would do is probably, you know, have a thing that you can show or hide, but, you know, if I were to look up there, a little piece of text should say something like, you know, the Lighthouse of Alexandria or something like that. Blocking the
Although
port.
the palace offered protection, losing the port meant the end of help and supplies. Caesar knew he had to protect the fleet. While he and his troops succeeded in regaining control of the port, he knew it would be impossible to sustain. Caesar ordered the burning of the ships. With passage back to the palace closed off, he headed for the Lighthouse of Alexandria.
And that is that. All right. Let's take a look here.
Fighting their way through the Egyptian troops, Caesar and his men eventually reached Pharos Island. There, they took refuge within the lighthouse. With easy access to the open sea, Caesar was able to send messages to his allies requesting reinforcements and more supplies.
Smart move.
The island fort also allowed him to control access to the harbor by relying on the chains used by the Egyptians to control ship traffic to and from Alexandria's docks.
Interesting. All right.
The exact chronology of events during the war in Alexandria
Oh, they burned the
remained
library.
precise. Conflicting accounts raise questions as to when.
Oh, come on. Really? Really?
Even if the Great Library of Alexandria was burned down at all. One account states that during the fighting, docks and warehouses were burned, and this was the fire that spread to the library.
Ruh-roh.
In another account, when Achilles cut off the harbor, Caesar had to leave the safety of the palace to defend his ships. As the enemies battled across the port, their arsenals set ships ablaze, and this destruction
I like that the
spread
library's on
far
fire and
out.
everybody's just chilling. Just kind of walking around doing their own thing. It's like, the library's on fire, shit!
In either case, the Great Library was not completely destroyed. Experts point out that its location was too far from the harbor, and much later texts refer to the Great Library as being intact. Warehouses near the harbor contained manuscript copies awaiting export, and it is more likely that these documents were destroyed than the Great Library itself.
Interesting. Alright. Get on to the next thing here. Was that another tour? Let's hold off. Let's do this.
The
Lost
destruction of the
knowledge.
Great Library may have been due to a number of fires over the ages. Its end was probably closer to the 4th century CE, when the Christian Emperor Theodosius I ordered the closure of all pagan temples.
Pagan
While some
temples.
documents survived after being moved away, it remains unclear just what knowledge may have been lost.
The knowledge.
Where there are accounts of Achilles being in control of the battle against Caesar, it appears that instead Cleopatra's sister, siding with her brother, had him killed and put her ally Ganymedes in his place. Ganymedes proved a valuable tactician for the Egyptian side. It was his idea to cut Caesar's access to the harbor, thus trapping Caesar at the palace.
What's up, kids?
During the time of Ptolemy I, canals had been dug throughout Alexandria to provide fresh water. Ganymedes had his men take control of these canals. After isolating their own water supply, he had his men pour salt water into the canals and cisterns that led to Caesar's camp.
Ooh. So he didn't have fresh water. That's evil.
Panic erupted in Caesar's men. They wouldn't last long without fresh water. Recognizing that the porous limestone could help them, Caesar and his men dug wells to restore their water supply.
Wow.
Days later, the 37th Legion, comprised of Pompey's soldiers, arrived by ship. Unable to come ashore due to the winds, Caesar risked going out to meet them on the peninsula, Cape Chersonese. When the enemy learned Caesar's location, they rushed to intercept.
Wow.
Despite an obvious advantage for the Alexandrians, Caesar, with a Rhodian ship full of skillful sailors, emerged victorious.
Wow. Caesar's a badass. Hey, lovely noogie to you too. All right.
With help from the Allied ships, Caesar's victory enabled him to push the Egyptians back and secure the lighthouse. Gaining control of Pharos Island sent the Alexandrians into the sea and swimming back to the city.
Wow.
However, Caesar's fortification of the island didn't last long. The enemy regrouped and were set to storm the island. Panic-stricken, in spite of Caesar's encouragement, many of his men then fled their posts, either by ship or jumping into the sea.
Sorry, dude. Just clotheslined your ass.
And lovely noogie, mostly.
Yeah, lovely noogies to you, too.
Caesar attempted to retreat, but Port Eunostos' harbor was overrun with enemy ships, preventing escape.
Uh-oh.
Reportedly, Caesar gathered his papers and leapt overboard in an attempt to swim to an Allied ship farther out. Historian Cassius Dio claimed that Caesar would have drowned if he hadn't been able to remove his purple garment. Still, he managed to swim the distance and survive.
Wow, this guy is
Alexandrians
badass.
recovered the cloak and used it as a trophy to commemorate the Roman debacle.
Caesar was a badass, man. You can't kill that guy.
Ogalos, Evge.
Unhappy with Ganymedes and wanting their king restored, the Alexandrians approached Caesar with a compromise. Caesar agreed to release Ptolemy XIII after entreating him to spare the kingdom and remain loyal to Rome. Once freed, however, the king defied the agreement and continued the war.
Uh-oh. That doesn't sound like it's going to end well. Alright. Let's go on over here.
Ogalos, Evge.
Here we are at the
By this time,
lighthouse.
a faithful ally of Caesar's, Mithridates, arrived in Egypt, clashing with Ptolemy's troops at Pelusium. Outnumbering the enemy, Mithridates secured the region between Pelusium and Alexandria. Ptolemy, warned of Caesar's ally marching on Alexandria, sent his troops to prevent passage over the river.
Uh-oh.
Mithridates warned Caesar in time, and the two groups confronted the armies of Ptolemy in the Delta. In the Battle of the Nile, the Romans gained the upper hand, sending the Egyptians fleeing. In the tumult and panic, King Ptolemy XIII drowned in the Nile.
Jeez. Caesar, not to be effed with. Alright, I think this is the last station here.
After the siege ended, Cleopatra VII married her younger brother, Ptolemy XIV, enabling her to reign over Egypt until 30 BCE. Under her rule, Alexandria settled into its position within the Roman Empire and eventually surpassed Athens as one of the most important cities in the Roman Empire.
Wow.
Julius Caesar remained in Egypt for a short time. He and Cleopatra would later have a son named Caesarion.
Caesarion. And I wonder how he was born. Maybe a C-section? There we go. The Siege of Alexandria. Tour completed. What time we got here? Well, I think that should be enough to give you a taste of what this discovery mode is all about. I'm going to, maybe not on stream, but I'm going to definitely take a few more of these tours. As you can see, there's quite a few of them. You know, Introduction to Alexandria, we probably passed a couple of these. Alexandria. Education, they did a lot of stuff in Alexandria. Here's the Islands of Pharos, 9 stations. The monuments located on the islands, 7 minutes. You know, here's the Panion, 2 minutes. Why don't we go to the Islands of Pharos? It looks like they did everything in Alexandria, actually. Huh. Why don't we do the Islands of Pharos real quick? Go check some islands out. And that'll be the last tour that we do for the stream. I hope you're enjoying it. I sure am. This is pretty cool. Here's me. All right. Here we go. Thomas has parked us here. Alright, learn about the islands of Pharos and the monuments located on the islands. Estimated time, 7 minutes. Bear with me, here we go.
Welcome to the Islands of Pharos.
Ferris Bueller.
The Heptastadion was a bridge-like causeway connecting the island of Pharos to mainland Alexandria. Its name is based on the Greek terms of measurement, hepta, meaning 7, and stadion, which is a measure of length of roughly 180 meters.
Alright, so that's 180 meters between each one of these guys, I think.
Since its construction would separate the Grand Port to the east and the port of Eunostos to the west, it was designed with channels at each end. These openings allowed passage from one port to the other. Along with creating separate harbors for the commercial and military shipping, the causeway served as a main aqueduct for the island's inhabitants. Its presence also helped protect the island and its ports from rough wind and sea currents. At the end of antiquity, the Heptastadion disappeared under layers of silt and soil, which formed an important sedimentary deposit.
Interesting. Is this thing just kind of disintegrated? Hey, thanks for the follow, Petty Alpaca 2677. Appreciate that. We're doing a tour in discovery mode in Assassin's Creed Origins, which is kind of cool. And this is our last tour of the stream, but as you can see, we're learning about the islands of Pharos. And you just kind of follow the trail, like I'm doing here. And it walks you through and gives you a little bit of knowledge. So let's learn something here.
While the Serapeum was the most celebrated of the temples in Alexandria, many other temples were built within the city. Most of these structures have been completely erased over time, and there is no way to discern how many existed. However, research of ancient papyri offered tantalizing hints as to the possible location of at least some of the temples.
And I just love that they've rebuilt them in their entirety for this game, so you get to see them as they were in the time period. I mean, I love this stuff. This is great. This is how history class should have been.
Both papyri and coins reveal evidence of many temples built for the gods. Poseidon, the god of the sea, likely had an edifice in his honor west of this island, as well as on the mainland. This temple next to you is dedicated to Isis Feria, the divine protector of the lighthouse.
That must be that person.
This location hosted annual celebrations in the month of April, known as the Sacrum Feria, in connection to the lighthouse. In her incarnation as Isis Fortuna, the goddess carries a rudder and a cornucopia, both symbols of good luck for navigators.
Oh yeah, she's got a little horn of plenty in her hand there. Cool. And there's sacrifices and offerings or whatever, burning incense and leaving fruit and stuff like that. Oh, look at this. Can I walk right here? What's up? Alright, you guys seem to know what you're doing, so I'll let you guys go. Alright, let's go on over to our next station here, which is around this temple here. There's our Lighthouse of Alexandria, one of the wonders of the world off in the distance. We heard that Caesar holed up in there while the siege of Alexandria was going on.
Considered one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, the Lighthouse of Alexandria was a source of great pride for the inhabitants of the city. Construction began under Ptolemy I's reign and lasted 15 years. It was completed during his son's rule. Once completed, the lighthouse was dedicated to the gods for the salvation of those who sail the sea.
It's kind of cool. 15 years it took to build that thing. Let's trot on down this dirt road here.
Built on the island of Ferris, the stone structure was 3 tiers set on top of one another in a step formation. The second floor consisted of an octagonal tower, and the top floor was a cylindrical tower topped by a statue. The interior provided space for staff rooms and a ramp which allowed the transport of fuel to the upper floors.
Interesting. All right. Let's see what else we can learn about it.
Essential to safe navigation through the rifts and shallow waters, the Ferris was a functioning lighthouse with a beam reportedly visible 50 kilometers away. It's unclear what kind of fuel was used or how much. Any other details of how the light worked remain a mystery.
Well, when they said a beam, I'm wondering what they used to make it a beam. Did they use like Fresnel glass or anything?
For several centuries, the Ferris was one of the highest monuments ever built by man. It measured roughly 110 meters in height, compared to the Pyramid of Giza, which was around 140 meters tall. Gradually, the structure was eroded by earthquakes and then completely destroyed in 1480 CE, when a fort was built over it.
Jeez.
Archaeological excavations on the seabed have uncovered many blocks from the ancient building.
Wow. And that completes our tour of the islands of Pharos. These are the other tours that are available in the Discovery tour mode. I'm sure they can add more as they see fit over time. They probably will. But yeah, there's lots of cool tours you can take in this thing, and I'm going to do some more of them probably off stream and check that out. But yeah, I hope you had enjoyed the stream. I'm going to call it a night. My streams usually last about an hour, so I'm not one of those guys that streams for 8 hours a day or 10 hours a day or 24-hour marathons or any of that stuff. I stream for an hour, and you kind of get in, you get out, but we try to do something cool each time, like this, where, you know, this was kind of like going to school for a little bit. You learned a little something here, and I certainly learned some things. I hope you had some fun along the way with me. If you like what you saw, be cool like Petty Alpaca 2677 and pound that follow button, and you'll know when I'm streaming. If you follow me on Twitter, it's @PJK. You can watch me on Twitch or on Mixer, and it's PJK_ on those. I'm also streaming on YouTube. So all of those platforms, whichever one you're comfortable with, man, come on in and enjoy the time with me. And, you know, since I only stream for an hour a day, what do you do with the rest of your 23 hours? Well, you can go to my Discord, man. That's where the rest of my social media stuff lives, is on Discord. And I tend to use that to post what I'm going to do and, you know, when I'm thinking of streaming and that sort of thing. So you can look in the announcements there. But definitely there's links in my Mixer and my Twitch information panels there that'll take you to my Discord. And feel free to join. It'd be lovely to have you there. And that's it for tonight's stream. Like I said, I will see you tomorrow night. I haven't figured out what I'm going to stream just yet as far as what activity we're going to do, but we'll do something fun for sure. It's always something interesting and new. But we'll do that, and I will see you soon. Thank you for watching. Peace.